Hey everyone, I'm Wendy McSwain, and welcome to A Real Life Moment. This is a podcast series by Real Life Church where we share a conversation with you, we talk about our current sermon series, or just offer some inspiration. We're so glad you've joined us today, and thank you, Phil, for being here.
Glad to be here.
Yeah, it takes a little extra time to do this, but we hope that it shares a little extra input about our sermon series with you. So last weekend we started a new sermon series. It's called Am I Just a Number? So, Phil, if you will, just tell us a little bit about the concept for the series.
Okay. Well, with how busy we all get with life, especially with kids, and we get so caught up in everything, it's easy to feel like a number when you're waiting in line somewhere, at the doctor's office, DMV, restaurant, hospital especially. It's easy to feel like nobody cares, or am I just a number? Am I just a dollar bill for somebody? And that was the thinking behind that, because it's easy to convince ourselves, nobody cares, we don't really matter. And then the worst part is we convince ourselves to feel like that with God, and we should never feel that way. That's just so untrue, that He doesn't care or we don't matter to Him.
Yeah. Don't you think that's one of the biggest things, I know it is for me, is feeling like either I'm not noticed, right, or like, and not that you need a whole lot of it, because I don't like a whole lot of attention all the time, but I want to be acknowledged. Like, I think that's kind of a human need. Mm-hmm. And when you're just one out of a million, you don't feel like anybody even sees that you're there sometimes.
It's not that you want to be the center of attention, but you do want to feel like you're not taken for granted, that you matter, and that somebody cares for you, and that you're needed especially. That's a deep human need, to feel needed.
Right. So this series is 5
weeks, and then a special Father's Day message in between.
Okay. So. Yeah, that's good. And when I was thinking about this series, I've often wondered why God chose some of the numbers. Like, they're in the Bible. Last week we talked about that Jesus will leave the 99 to go get the one.
Right.
And that's a really interesting contrast. But why do you think that so many numbers are pointed out in the Bible?
The thing that I was drawn to was the stories that have a numerical emphasis. They're easy to highlight this fact that we're just one of a certain number, and so it draws into that, and it highlights the fact that we are part of a body of believers. And yes, we can get caught up into I'm just a number, I'm just 98 or 99. But it's cool when we look at the story of the 100 sheep, that the shepherd would risk his life for just the one, where our shepherd gave his life to save the one.
Yeah. So. Yeah, that's almost a complete flip of the way, you'd think, well, if you get most of them, then it's okay.
Right. It's easy to look at.
99%, I'm doing pretty good. But, Jesus flips everything on its head. And look, He's actually looking at the 1% and not the 99.
That's the difference. Because humanly, we would say, well, that's just the one. I can do without that because I've still got the 99. But Jesus and His Father don't look at us that way. We have so much value to Him, an inherent value to Him, that He's willing to send His Son to save the one.
Yeah, that's really good. That value that He has on us, I think, is so critical that we understand that, because, like I was talking about, just this need to feel acknowledged, or to be needed, or, to have a purpose. And I think just in the world, it's just so, you just get lost in what's going on. But if you have that deep understanding, I don't know, I think I'm still learning that of, God values me as one person.
Exactly.
Everything else can build on top of that.
Right. So much more value than we give ourselves. God values us just infinitely more than we can even imagine. And He places a lot of value on the one.
The one. That's good. The Bible also says we're dust. So it's like, I think it's a humbling thing that you realize, my life is very valuable, and all life is valuable. But then you also know life is fleeting, and we have to be humble. And, I guess that's following Jesus. There's a lot of reality to it too. Yeah. I was following a car into work this morning, and the guy did something that kind of aggravated me, but I had to think, and I don't often do this, that man was made in the image of God. Right. Like, he's just as valuable to God as I am, Right. I thought, okay, for once, I kind of was trying to get my mind in the right frame. Because we're not Jesus. It's hard to think of people that way, but
Exactly.
he modeled it for us, didn't he?
Right, he did.
Yeah, I think that's one of the interesting things about Christianity. I mean, this is a huge topic, but when you're talking about these numbers and thinking about how Jesus loves us as individuals, I mean, why would God even want a personal relationship with us?
Right. Again, it shows God created us to have fellowship with Him, and that was the whole reason that we were created. And if that's so, then He's willing to do whatever it takes to draw us to Him. The thing we always like to highlight is how God relentlessly pursues us, in that He doesn't let the little things that we do stop Him from pursuing us. We put up roadblocks. We do things that take us away from Him or distract us from what we should be doing and how we should live our life to please God. And yet He's there to draw us back every time, no matter how stubborn we are and how much we go against what He wants for us.
Yeah.
So
That's a love you can't quite understand.
right.
As we look forward, like this coming weekend, what's the series going to be about, or what's the message?
Yeah, so this week with the we understand with Gideon's 300 men, we understand and take away from this story that even when we may lack courage, if we move forward with faith and obedience, God is there to sustain us, to provide for us, and that's the main thing we take away from the story of the 300 men with Gideon, because we learned that Gideon had a big army, and God didn't want them to misplace their trust and say, look what we did. Because as humans, that's what we do. Oh, look what I can do. Look, God gave me this, but then I start to take the credit for it. When God's gifted me or God's given me something or blessed me with something, and the same with anybody else, we tend to look at it and then highlight ourselves. So we learn from Gideon, this story this weekend, that even when we lack what we think we need, God is there to provide for us and sustain us.
That's good. That's really good. What else can we look forward to learning this
In the story of the 10th leper, we're going to learn that what God can do through a life that shows gratitude, real faith, and thankfulness. And then we're going to look at the story of the 12 scouts and the importance of having a negative attitude and discord versus the importance of unity and positive attitudes. And we'll see that. And then the final story, the most powerful, I think, of those are the story of the three Jewish men who were brought before King Nebuchadnezzar, and they have to stand up. They have to have, again, like Gideon's men, they had the courage. These men had the courage to do what was right. And even if things look bad and they don't work out how you think they're going to, God is there to provide and to sustain.
Yeah.
It's a powerful message in that. So the numerical stories just kind of bring to life, hey, I'm not the only one going through this. I am part of a bigger body, a bigger thing. And yes, I do have inherent value in my one life, but it's important that I put that into another body and become part of that body and blend in and be a unified, positive, faithful, and obedient follower.
Oh, that's good. That's a good goal for all of us, isn't it?
That's right, yeah.
That's definitely what I want to be.
That should be what we're working for.
Yeah, that's amazing. All right. Well, I'm looking forward to the rest of this series, and even the Father's Day message. I know those are always special.
I'm excited about it.
Yeah. So. All right. Well, thank you, everybody, for joining us today. Thanks, Phil. If you need more information about Real Life Church, go to discoverreallife.net. You can listen to our current series there if you click on sermons. And to connect with a staff member, just fill out our Easy Connect card there. So thank you for joining us.
See you soon.